Well, we're still on the beach. You can see that. That guy's having a good time. I think he's out of picture now. I think what he is just a damn voyeur. Goes up and down the beach looking for P&A. We have a young couple right behind us. They're playing beach game. All these kids just showed up. I think they're from the camp. There's a kids camp up the road about 3 miles. Pretty good place. There's a nature preserve. And this thing can't be a mile wide. Just a mile wide. And we got water on both sides of us. Well, we're inland in Portugal. It's very sparsely populated. And they do a really good job of growing lots of rocks and trees. Spanish sign.
Is there a guard?
Don't see a guard. Bus. Okay, so we are now in Spain again, España. Province of Salamanca. This is Sesame. Well, this is a monument to Saint Teresa. I guess she's the one who founded the city of Avila. As you can see, it's totally walled in. Get up here a little closer. If I remember right, it has 88 towers. Frank Sinatra made a movie here. It was called The Cannon for Avila. I'd like to go in there and have something to eat. We're having car problems though. And I think we've got a fuel filter that's not right. So I definitely want a better look closer up. You got to go in up there, way up on top here. That's how you get into this city. I have no idea how old it is. Maria's checking to see if there's a Ford dealer. I'm going to get a little... This is a shrine. Everybody and their brother gets a picture taken here.
Tell you about Avila?
Yeah. Did you read about it?
No, it has 88 towers, and each tower is 33.5 feet tall. The home, the birthplace of Saint Teresa. So they have the convent and the birthplace of Saint Teresa here. And who knows how long we'll be here. The city's grown out that way in the past 25 years, and it's grown out that way in the past 25 years. He says it's a fairly big size Ford dealer. I don't know what big is to them, but...
Well, I think we're better off staying here.
I don't think we should try and go to Segovia, because we don't know what we're going to find.
Yeah.
We can have them write down the address of the Ford dealer, and we can hope we get a room in that hotel.
Okay, let's try it. Well, we're right up close and personal. I've tinkered with the car, and it's running again. But we're going to stay in a really nice hotel. 3-star in Spain is better than a 4-star in Portugal. Portuguese didn't really have it together. So we're going to walk up this way and into the gates. Well, this is the main gate into Avila. You see, it's pretty impressive. I think we can walk up on top of those walls too, if I remember right. So we're going to go right in there. Well, we've walked down the old street there, came in through there, and we're in the Plaza Mayor, the major place. And we're going to have a little snack here. Just to give you a little idea, this is pretty typical of these old Spanish towns. They'll all have a Plaza Mayor. Some are prettier than this, and some are uglier than this. And we're going to be right over in here somewhere. There's my wife. Right there she is. That old lady there is cooling off. And we come over here. Just give you an idea. This is typical Spanish. Well, we have come to the cathedral here in Avila. And the only cathedral that really impresses me is the one in Toledo. Somewhere Mrs. C is out there. See if I can find her. There she is. Okay. Can't go in there. Maybe we can go in there. It's really nice and sunny today. We had a nice Spanish salad, and I think they're going around to the side entrance. The Plaza Mayor. Great service, good cold beer. Well, it doesn't look like we can get into this cathedral, but I can give you a little shot of the architecture from the outside. Definitely Gothic because of the flying buttresses you see holding up the side of the wall. Well, there's the church Maria wants me to take me into, and you see this bus right there to the left. It's just full of these American young people. So they're enjoying this day in the park. I think they've already walked all through Avila. And we're going to try and get into one of these churches. My battery had went dead. So, whoops. I'm shooting while I'm walking. Maria is somewhere in this park, and then we'll once again search out the entranceway to the church, the cathedral, so to speak. They look like they could all be high school students. Well, we've walked over here. We're going to try and sneak in with this American tour group. They seem to know something that we don't. Now, this is a church outside of the wall of Avila. And you see we're in that park a little bit ago. So my wife is down there somewhere. So no. Check you later. Well, we finally got inside a cathedral. And this is a typical Gothic cathedral that you're going to see here in Avila. Notice the vaulted roof. They use that style of architecture and technology to help hold up the roof. And then you see you have these columns that also help support the roof. And then outside you would have a flying buttress supporting that, so you could have a much thinner wall. This is a very old church. It probably has a combination of Roman, which is always a rounded arch, compared to Gothic, which is a pointed arch. Let's go see. The one thing about the Spanish churches is that they had the most fantastic altars. God, I just tripped over something. I broke my foot. What? Yeah. So we're probably looking at gold leaf laid over wood, because that was the style that they used here on the main altars. So the Spanish have the most fantastic main altars of all the Catholic churches. Well, I don't know what this thing is. Maria, what is? We have about 3 different kinds of tour groups in here. And I still don't know the significance of this thing right here. I'm zeroing in on this guy. I'd like to know. These things always impress me, though, in Spain. The best one is in Toledo. Well, I found out the significance of this piece of stonework, and look, whatever it is, what do you want to call it, it's a grave of St. Vincent. And St. Vincent was killed outside the church in the square, and of course at that time he wasn't a saint. He was probably just a priest, and he was brought in here, and he is resting, his body is resting here at this place. And then the statue in the window that glows is the statue of St. Vincent. So here we have the organ, and the organ in these churches they sound just fantastic. I failed to mention that this is a combination of Romanesque and Gothic architecture. So when it's constructed by the Romans during the Roman period, you always had the rounded arches, as what we're looking at now. And then as the technology progressed, then we come to the vaulted arch and the flying buttress and the pointed. So this is a very late Romanesque, early Gothic church. around, probably started construction in the 12th century, continued through the 15th. Here we have construction. Looks like just everyday stones. Where's my wife at? But this is a typical thing. They take and put charcoal in the wet cement, and then of course as it hardens, you're always going to have these little black dots. So we'll see this again, this design in Segovia at the castle there, the Alcazar in Segovia. You don't see it a lot, but it's I've only seen it in Spain. Don't quite know what this is. And I forgot the tour book. Something very old. This is so old. No. What's neat is they got stork's nest on top of this thing. What's in there, Marie?
Nothing.
Has square arches.
Which way?
Well, I finally got the date on these walls. Made in the 11th century, so that puts them around 1000 AD. That these walls were made, and it was made to protect the inhabitants of inside the city. So everything inside that gate, the whole thing was considered a fortress. And of course, lots of things then were kept adding onto, put inside. But what's nice about it is they've kept modern buildings from building right up next to it. Now this is the front of the church that we were in earlier. Cost us 50 pesetas to get in there. And you see there's the pointed arches, which is the Gothic style. And reading the literature on this church, it was even added on and reconstructed in the 19th century. So, but there's also 18th century work in here, which is Baroque. And the round archways represents a Romanesque, which is Roman period. So this thing is really old. Well, we're still in Avila. We took a little nap, and we're still here on the 21st, and we're getting ready to go in and have something to eat. And this is just some typical architecture and city and what we have here in Avila. We are on the west side now of the city with the wall all around it, and we're going to go through there and see what we can find. Looked at the other side of the wall. Of course, I'm standing right out here in the street, so people can't get by. They're really courteous. There's the show that isn't running worth a shit. I don't know what we're going to do about it. Find out tomorrow when things are open again. Probably can walk around up on top there on the ledge if we feel like we're athletic enough. Well, I've just walked through these walls. that gate right there. And came into this plaza. Spain probably has more churches, and Avila has the most churches per square kilometer of any other city I know of. Now my wife has disappeared either down that street or somewhere else. So she's been in there, now she's coming out. Let's see what she has to say.
Bendito seas, Señor, Dios del universo, por este día, fruto de la vida y del trabajo de ti, que recibimos de tu generosidad y ahora te presentamos. Él será para nosotros bebida de salvación. Orad, hermanos, para que este sacrificio, mío y vuestro, sea agradable a Dios Padre Todopoderoso. Mira, Señor, los dones de tu iglesia de oración y concede a quienes...
Well, Marie and I are just walking around inside the old city of Avila. She is directly over here to my right. Stick your finger out, Marie. And we're just looking for the right place to eat. We have some time because it's not time to eat yet. Still pretty hot out for us. I mean, us Germans, I would say it's at least 88, 85 or so. Even they don't know where to go. Well, we're just exploring, Marie. Who cares if we're way off? I have never spent this much time in Avila. And we may just come across a little jewel. Too bad these sorry-ass motorcycles have to come by here. This is just an exquisite little corner here in Avila. But it doesn't matter where you go, everybody's brother wants to come through here. I have no idea what this is all about, except there's a stork nest up there. You can see this from our hotel room. Which let me tell a photo right through there. Here's our hotel that we're staying in. Second floor. I'm making the cars go around me. They can suck salami sandwiches as far as I care. Maria is checking out the prices in a Spanish Pardor, which is right in there. Looks like here she comes. It's a state-run hotel. Probably full. What?
$125 a night.
And it won't have the amenities that we got.
Well, yes, it does.
It's got satellite TV?
It has everything. 4-star.
Oh.
I mean, it's an old palace made into a parador.
Guess we won't be staying there, huh?
Actually, that brochure I picked up has the prices of every brochure now the same, and they're no longer.
Well, this is the view looking out of our hotel window back towards Avila at night. And it is really a very popular place. As you can see, the traffic below us has been this way probably for an hour or more. I just thought I would just scan. Of course, I don't know what kind of video picture here I'm going to get. But it's really a beautiful sight from this hotel room. And you can see everybody's just slowly easing in. I don't think they're wanting to come to Avila per se. They just have to go past it and do the intersection thing. Okay. This will probably be the last we see of Avila. Well, we're looking at the mountains behind Segovia, and the reason we're looking at that is because the water for the city is brought from there from the mountains into the old city by this aqueduct. And the aqueduct, there's the aqueduct, was built by the Romans. And the only thing, it's still being used today, the only thing is, I'll get closer later, but The Spaniards have covered up the top, so they probably laid a pipe or something in there. But that is very, very impressive. And then as I pan across here, I think Segovia is my most favorite city in Spain. We're standing on a hill, and then there's this, get an idea. Overlooking the city. I got this cross right in the way. From the outside, that's one of the most impressive cathedrals. But I'm more impressed with the cathedral in Toledo than that, on the inside, than that one. There's one more thing in here that's excellent, and that's the Alcazar, but can't see it from this point. Do you have anything to add there, Mrs. C? Our car is still running like shit. It gets to Madrid for us. Maybe. Well, way off there in the distance is the Alcazar, and this is really a spectacular castle, and that's the front of it. That's how you get into it. It's a natural fortress, stream coming down on two sides of it, and I think we're going to take a tour through it. At least I hope we can. And maybe they'll allow me to film in there. If they won't allow me to film in there, then I'm not going to take a tour through it, because I already know a lot about it since I've been through it in the past. But it's nice to see it again. Not much to see here. We're in a kind of a restricted area. One more time. A lot of history there. This is where Columbus asked Isabella for the ships. Well, here I am up close to the Roman aqueduct. And what's amazing is that those huge stones are all placed and in place without any concrete. They were made so well that they all fit together. And you see, it goes on a long way. I'll get up a little bit closer. We used to be able to drive right through the aqueduct, but then in the 80s I had to change the battery. Today is the 22nd of July, and continuing here in Segovia, you can see that these big stones all have a hole or an indentation made in them, and you see that was used like huge tongs, grasped each stone and swung it into place with a crane. And that's how they did it. So now you can't drive underneath the aqueduct anymore. And they've made this into a nice plaza. But this restaurant is where Maria and her mother and I ate in 1971. So that's kind of nice that that's still a restaurant. Well, this is the Cathedral of Segovia. It has lots of churches in it. And you can see that this is a combination also of Romanesque and Gothic, and I forgot the whole history of this church. But it's really impressive on the outside. We're in the Plaza Mayor in Segovia, and right over here I used to get what was called a bocadilla de lomo, the best sandwich in Spain.
Going slowly down, all together.
Well, I'm standing just in front of the Alcazar, and this is what the fortress was built on. You can see it was very placed in a natural defensive position, and Segovia also has a wall partially around it. See some of it here. And see the cathedral. See the back side of the cathedral way up there. And now I guess we're going to go through this thing. Well, now I've walked to the other side of this precipice that the Alcazar is built on, and I'm just panning across the countryside, and we come to this church. That church was built totally in the Roman period. The walls are 12 feet thick. And you get an idea that you see that there's a river down there, and then there's a stream on the other side. And then we come up here, looking this way, you get a much closer view of the Alcazar. And I don't know where my wife is. Now we see those balconies there. Well, this balcony right there, from there all the way to the bottom is at least 200 feet. Trees are in the way. And during one of the king's reign, one of the maids was holding one of the babies of the king and queen, and she dropped it off that ledge, and so she knew she would be killed for doing that, so she just jumped over herself and committed suicide. The slate roof comes from Germany, and I like to think it comes right from Eder Oberstein area. Just north of Eder Oberstein there's a big slate mine. And then this is also this is the same pattern I talked about earlier, where they take the charcoal and put it in the cement to give it the black dot. And I'm just about out of film here, so I'm just going to shoot it up. It's in what a beautiful place it's in. Should be running out of tape any minute.